One of the things that is fun to do on this channel is to draw attention to some films that you may not have heard of before. And in this episode of It Came From Hong Kong, we're going to be looking at 1988's I Love Maria, directed by David Chung. And of note is that this film only played in Hong Kong cinemas for about a week before it bombed big time. Released at the same time as Jackie Chan's Police Story 2 and Dragons Forever, it really didn't have much of a chance. After the success of Paul Verhoeven's film Robocop in the States, it found an audience on home video, and it was even repackaged in the US as Roboforce. Now, you might be thinking that this is a Robocop ripoff, and you would be totally wrong. The film was conceived and written before Robocop had even been released. Its influences are more in alignment with Fritz Lang's Metropolis and numerous manga cartoons like Speed Racer, Robotech, and above all else, the Gundam series.
What? That's absolutely impossible! The rifles are useless against it!
Watch this, Sion Rat!
One look at the mechas in this film, and it's no question about it. Even the acting is all manic level manga energy.
Are you okay, Whiskey?
I am, Master.
Hey!
Maria!
The story is simple. Hong Kong exists in a world where the rise of mechas are not being used for law enforcement, but they're being used by gangs. The Pioneer 1 is a giant robot, and although it's strong, it's clunky, so the Pioneer 2 is developed as a cyborg clone of gang leader Maria, and it falls into the hands of two misfits. One, a former gang member, Whiskey, who Pioneer 2 is trying to kill, and Curly, a recently fired police tech who makes weapons to kill the mechas. When a malfunctioning Pioneer 2 falls into their hands, they reprogram it to fight the giant Pioneer 1 mecha, and all sorts of fun ensues. Written by Yun Kai-chi, who had previously written Twinkle Twinkle Little Star in 1983, and that film has a lot in common with this film in its political undertones and slapstick style of delivery. I was first made aware of this film the same way I was made aware of my favorite Hong Kong movie of all time, Zoo: Warriors from the Magic Mountain, from Jonathan Ross's incredibly strange film show. A segment on director Tsui Hark showed a clip of Maria showcasing Hark as an actor in a batshit crazy sci-fi movie. I had to find it, and it took some time. But I eventually got a bootleg copy at a comic book show, and I've been looking to replace that VHS for about 30 years now. Thanks to Shout Factory purchasing the Golden Princess library of films, it's now out on a beautiful new 4K and Blu-ray set. And boy, what a difference 30 years makes.
又撞返呢個衰嘢啊！ 朱麗葉，
我嚟救你。瑪利亞，我一定會嚟救你㗎。
So, writer Yun Kai-chi has written some of Hong Kong's big touchstone classics like A Chinese Ghost Story and Once Upon a Time in China, among others. And a lot of those are produced by Tsui Hark and choreographed by the one and only Ching Sin-Tung. And when you look at his resume as a director and or action director, you're looking at a person who shaped the 80s and 90s Hong Kong action genre. His presence in this film is dominant, maybe even more so than director David Chung. And many have speculated that producer Tsui Hark ghost-directed this film, much like the Hooper-Spielberg Poltergeist debate. But seeing as how Tsui is also a lead in the film along with co-producer Shum, I don't think he would have had the time. But with Hark's legendary non-sleeping persona, who knows?
Almost every film I finish, I want to make it again. That's my terrible thinking.
As mentioned before, the main influences on this film are Metropolis and Gundam. Metropolis being the main influence, as Sally Yeh takes on two parts here as her human self and her robotic double, just as in Lang's film. And I shouldn't have to mention her name. Maria is the same as in Metropolis. And Yeh is fantastic in the film, getting to play the confused yet heroic robot named Pioneer 2 and her human version, Maria. Sally is fantastic in this film, as she was in Choi's previous film, Peking Opera Blues, and after this, she would reunite again for him in John Woo's The Killer.
願那一天你來臨時，輕輕給我你的接受，給我知道眼眸裏的人承諾的一切永沒改變。
As mentioned earlier, both producers Shum as Curly and Tsui Hark as Whiskey are starring in the film. And one might ask, why are the producers of a film the stars of the film as well? Well, it's because this film was very expensive. All the robotic stuff and the production design was super expensive. But both these producers were both well known, and it would save a lot of money if they just did it themselves.
唉，我哋係朋友嚟㗎嘛，我哋共過患難，共過生死，不能同月同日生，但能同月同日死。你同我都冇朋友，唔怪得啱啱識你就講生死之交嘅説話。
Shum being the bigger draw as an actor than Tsui, but Hark holds his own here.
Let's go! Hey, hang on, I want to introduce you. Hey!
喂，而家點啊？準備未？上！去！
We have to mention the fourth lead of this film is none other than the legendary Tony Leung, in a very early role. One review on Letterboxd referred to him as Baby Leung, and I love that. His character Chong is kind of the narrative glue here because he's the reporter trying to piece together all the angles of corruption, science, and police shenanigans so he can expose what's going on to the real world.
哇，勁啊！我冇相機。
The score by Romeo Diaz is also fun, however, I have to call some BS here. There is a blatant, and I mean very blatant ripoff of two classic 80s movie scores. One is Tangerine Dream's score for Near Dark, and the other is Jay Chataway's Maniac Cop score. I guess they figured no one would notice. Well, they were wrong. I noticed. So, throw away your old bootlegs and saddle up for some outrageous Hong Kong sci-fi fun. There are mechas, cyborgs, hybrids, supercars, spaceships, and Baby Lung. This new 4K transfer from the negative is great, and the disc has another commentary by Hong Kong historian Frank Jing, and an interview with writer Yun Kai-chi. I Love Maria is a Hong Kong classic that might not have got the love it deserved upon release, but it's getting it now, and it came from Hong Kong.
Look out, look! Even heroes like us mess up, but we changed the whole world because we cared! Oh!